In today's video we are taking a closer look at a knife made by Italian knife maker Fox Knives. This one containing the Fox Shadow. Let's see. Fox / Bastinelli Shadow Frame Lock L-Max full stone washed carbon fiber. So I do have a couple of knives made by Fox. I do have a couple of folders and also some fixed blades in some different steels. All of them really nice knives. I especially like the Fox Suro, the Jesper Voxnäs designed small folding knife. I haven't made a dedicated video for that specific knife, but I should probably do that in the, well, not too distant future. Anyways, Fox Shadow is the knife we are going to take a look at. So we're going to do a bit of an unboxing to begin with. So let's see. We get some paperwork, warranty stuff in a few different languages. Not super interesting, to be honest. We also have this little, Fox knives. We make it sharp. Some. Thank you for choosing Fox knife product. Looking forward to counting you among our customers. We hope that this product will entirely satisfy you. Yada yada. Yeah, just some random information. Not super important. So here we have the black leather pouch that is hopefully containing a nice sharp folding knife. So let's open this up, shall we? Did I get it all the way? I did not. So inside we have some, well, there's not a whole lot going on inside. There is a small well, what should we call it? Small pocket here with a piece of cloth, and then we have the knife itself. Yeah. So this is actually, well, sort of a larger knife than I was anticipating. This is what it looks like out of the box. There is also a complete titanium version of this with titanium scales instead of carbon fiber, like we see here. And the carbon fiber is actually quite nice looking. There are no voids, no, no issues at all with the carbon fiber. A bit of different textures, however, but that is of course made on purpose. Here we have a really smooth texture. Let's see. Here we have a tad bit, rougher in terms of a small lines going on. And on this part we have the smooth surface carbon fiber again. So there is a bit going on here with the carbon fiber scales, not just plain all the way, but some different textures and some milling done to it. I think I'm gonna zoom in on the camera a bit before we start going into the specs. Now we are slightly more zoomed in, so now we can take a better look at the details. So let's start off by opening the knife, shall we? So this is a flipper design, but I just wanted to show that you can actually use the groove here, which goes on both sides, to open the knife. But I am going to open it using the flipper tab. So, first things first here. Carbon fiber scales, L-Max, blade steel. We've got a total length of 220 millimeters, so it is 22 centimeters in total length, with a blade length, a cutting edge, of 100 millimeters, so 10 centimeters. We have a close length, let's see, a close length of 120 millimeters, so 12 centimeter in closed length. We have a blade thickness of 4 millimeters. So this is a, pretty thick, stout blade. And while we have it like this, we can see that there is some very, very, very fine jimping going on here. Not very aggressive at all. It actually feels, well, how should I describe it? But it feels kind of nice placing your thumb like this. It does give you a bit of, extra grip, I will say that, but since it is so fine and non-aggressive, you don't get a, super, great grip, but a bit of extra grip. Yeah, very nice placement here of the thumb here, given the lines, the lines, I'd say, of the design. Very natural placement for your thumb. That is probably what I'm trying to go for. We have a total weight, well, there is only one weight for the knife, right? And the weight is 137 grams. So it's not a super heavy knife given its size, I'd say. The balance point, let's see, right about there. So it is a bit, back heavy, perhaps. Yeah. And like I stated when we did unboxing, the very short unboxing, is that this is a sort of a collaboration between Fox Knives and Bastinelli. I don't have any, previous experience with Bastinelli, but I do know they make some really, combat-oriented fixed blades and folding knives, and that they use a wide variety of steels, from some really premium steels to some, well, less premium steels. And this one is, like I stated, this one is in LMAX, which is, in my opinion, considered a premium steel. And here we see that it's made in Maniago, Italy. So the closing action is, well, it's not, drop shot, but it does, close fairly nice. You have to shake it a bit. The opening action is pretty solid, I'd say, given that this is quite a, a large knife or large blade. In terms of centering, I will say that the centering is more or less spot on. Perfect centering. There is no blade play, as far as I can tell. There is no lock stick. And I guess that, it may not, be drop shot, but I do think that it will break in quite nicely with some minor use. Taking a look at the blade profile here, it is a bit different looking from most of my folders. I'm not quite sure what we should call this exact blade profile even, but it does look, quite useful. A lot of belly, nice pointed tip. I mean, this knife is sort of, you can see hints of, Bastinelli's combat/tactical oriented designs in this design as well. And I guess the name Shadow is also a bit, perhaps combat oriented in some sense or manner. We have a pocket clip here, and nothing fancy at all, but hopefully, highly functional, at least. Some good attention to it. So a nice design that I think will be quite useful for a lot of different tasks. What I'm gonna put it up to next is of course some different types of sharpness tests. We're gonna try to slice some paper, different types of paper. We are going to perhaps slice some leather, and we might also try perhaps to shave some leg hair. I don't have a whole lot left of that because I've done so many sharpness tests recently, so it's getting tough to find any hair to remove. But you know, I'm gonna put it to some different types of use. Oh, and before we proceed, I wear size 10 in gloves. I have fairly large hands. Placing this knife in my hand looks like this. Could actually get a pretty decent grip without using the finger groove. But of course the most natural would be using the finger groove and placing your thumb here up on the spine on the jimping. It is a comfortable knife, at least to me. I think it's always tricky when you have finger grooves because, well, they are not always, you know, universal, or our hands are not always universal to the thoughts that went into the design with finger grooves. Sometimes multiple finger grooves. Obviously no finger choil. But this does feels good in hand. So let's see if it's also sharp, shall we? I realized that I believe we forgot, I'm not quite sure, but I believe we forgot to take a look at the lockup here of the frame lock. So let's take a look at that as well. We can see it's a pretty solid lockup. I'd say around like 40% perhaps, looking at it like that. I'm not sure why I forgot to show it or mention it, but you know, sometimes I forget. Very solid lockup. Yeah, now we can conclude the unboxing part and the specs and everything. I hope I haven't forgotten to mention anything else. If I have, well, leave a comment and I will try to reply to that and get back to you with anything that I might have forgotten to mention. Oh, I also forgot to mention there is a small lanyard hole up here. I never use lanyards on my knives, not on my fixed blades and not on my folders, but for those who care about it, there is indeed a lanyard hole right here. There's also a spacer going on here. Nothing really, that interesting. Is it actually? It's a carbon fiber spacer, I would say. Now I think we have mentioned most of the aspects. My sharpness tests are fairly straightforward. I'm going to start by doing some paper slicing. We're gonna slice some, not all of these, but one or two of these regular printing paper. We're then gonna try to slice some magazine paper, and then we're gonna finish it off by trying to slice some newspaper paper. So let's start with one or two printing papers. And this is of course the factory edge, since it was just unboxed. And I will say that Fox Knives have made some really sharp knives. They made some of my sharpest knives. And I would say that this one is no exception. This is actually incredibly sharp. This is extremely sharp. Extremely sharp. I don't think I ever say this when I slice printing paper, but this is a 10 out of 10 in sharpness. Maybe I should rank all of my folding knives and my fixed blades in terms of factory sharpness, but this is, you know, rarely do I feel that knives are this sharp. I am actually a bit surprised. I mean, I know that some of my knives from Fox have been incredibly sharp, but this is, yeah. Well, let's proceed to the magazine paper here. Do want it to be visible as well. So let's go for another page as well. This time around we can try to do some, you know, different like that sort of. It is a very sharp knife. Sliced it up pretty nicely as well. Yeah, it is sharp. Last, we have some newspaper paper, which is sometimes the most, you know, interesting thing to try to cut. So let's go for that. It is putting up quite a nice performance here, I would say. Do some extra here. Yeah, well, I would say that it is very sharp. No doubt about that. Kind of want to make, you know, a shaving, leg hair shaving part now. We should do that. I just need to locate a spot with some, you know, some hair left on. But it is very sharp. Passed all the paper tests more or less flawlessly. I'll see if I can put my leg up here on the table. I wasn't kidding when I said it would be difficult finding some hair. So this is the only area that I can see that I have, you know, some hair left on. So we're gonna have to do, you know, make do with what we have. Maybe some left here. This is hair popping sharp. That's what you call this type of sharpness when you are shaving your, well, leg in this case. This is an incredibly sharp knife. And I have absolutely zero hair left now, so we're gonna have to wait perhaps a few weeks before I can do this sort of sharpness test in the future. But a very, very sharp edge. Let's do one more test that I think could qualify as a sort of a sharpness test at least. And that is messing around with some leather here. So let's see if we can, to begin with, cut it up in two different pieces to work with. Like that. And then we can try to get some slices of it. Piercing like this, and then can we make some even finer slices as well? Yeah, so slicing up this piece of leather was, of course, not much of a challenge, and we're getting some really, you know, fine cuts too. And then this can be used as, well, I'm not sure what this can be used as, but, well, it is a piece of sliced up leather, and that is perhaps all it is. That's it for the sharpness tests, I think. Yeah. Time to summarize my thoughts here, and I'm gonna try to not drag it out too much. But first things first. When we did the unboxing here, I was a bit surprised over the sheer size of this pouch, and I felt like this knife has got to be bigger than I thought. And when we did open it up, we saw that the knife itself is actually not, well, it's not a small knife, but it's not as big as the actual pouch might make it seem, and there's a lot of space for it to move around. And I thought to myself, like, couldn't they have just gone with a smaller standard Fox Knives pouch that they have sent out with all the other knives that I have from Fox Knives? So I decided to go and grab my Foxiaru. I have a Sura and have some other smaller knives, but they all come with this standard size pouch here. So the Yaru here is, of course, a smaller knife than the Fox Shadow. But even so, I saw that we could get the knife to fit with this standard pouch without any problems at all. There's even a little bit of room for movement. Not a lot, but a little. So I would have preferred a smaller type of pouch because I find it to be unnecessary with the standard one here, and the knife moving around too much inside. Not that it's gonna damage it really, but it's just, and this is a really minor thing that I'm talking about right now, but it was something that I thought about when I when I open the box and when I'm now recording this this final part. Maybe we can even put the box inside the pouch inside the pouch. Pouchception. So really, you know, minor rant, but it's just that, you know, I prefer, well, better sized pouches. But it is a nice pouch, nice feel to it. It feels, you know, of high quality and, well, yeah. Just a really minor thing I wanted to comment on. So let's put Yaru away. And let's focus a bit more here on the Fox Shadow. So we have done some random things here. We did a unboxing to begin with. We went over the specs. We took a look at the overall design, the steel, the handle material, the fit and finish, centering, opening and closing action. Well, pretty much every aspect of this knife. And it is, you know, it is a really nicely made folder with excellent fit and finish, excellent sharpness as well, good, you know, blade, steel material and handle material, and so on. I was, you know, a little surprised because for a second when I did the unboxing here, I thought that the blade, the steel, was actually M390, but then I took a quick look and realized it was Elmax. But Elmax is a good steel, a really good steel, premium steel in my opinion. But funny enough here, I have more fixed blades in Elmax than I have folders. And I will say that my fixed blade knives in Elmax, they have held up really good with lots of use. So I think there's a lot about, you know, the heat treatment that that sort of determines whether or not the steel will, you know, hold up to what you put the knife through. And I mean, I haven't done a lot of, you know, hard stuff with this knife. In fact, we have only done some paper slicing, some leg hair shaving, some slicing of leather, etc. But I could have easily gone outside and, you know, done some wood carving, feather sticking, etc. And the knife, I'm sure, would have performed quite well. And I will say that, you know, now we're talking about some bushcraft stuff there, and this knife design is a bit more on the tactical side, perhaps you could say. But even so, even if there are, you know, tactical elements to the general design, you can of course use it for more, you know, normal practical knife related tasks. Great ergos, just, you know, a really solid knife. I don't own any other folder quite like this one. I really like the belly of this knife. Quite a wide blade, I'd say. And well, you know, it's been a nice acquaintance, one could say. I'm actually thinking about picking up its brother, the Fox Shadow, in full titanium. Even though I really like the carbon fiber here, it's kind of hard to make it pop here in the video. But it is very high quality, textured and smooth carbon fiber. So I'm not sure I have a whole lot more to say, but you know, it's if you've been looking at this knife, if you've been thinking about, you know, I wonder how it would perform, I wonder if it's, you know, the fit and finish is on par, I wonder how it would, you know, the sharpness, the edge, etc. Well, now you should have a slightly better understanding. It's not, you know, drop shot as of yet. I am breaking the knife in, but not all knives need to be drop shot. Really nice, snappy opening action. And it's nice to finally have a knife or a knife design by BASTINELLI. Like I said in the beginning of this entire video review, I have been curious about that maker or the designs, but I have felt that their designs in general are kind of too tactical for me. But here I found, you know, a good middle road, one could say. So the Fox Knives Shadow with its oversized leather pouch. Over and out.